Interesting new ideas, including the textile, are in the air, and at times it's important just not to frighten them. If you have at hand an old fur, maybe even its small rests, then I have the idea to unite it beautifully with the fabric's having cellular openwork structure. I offer 3 simple methods which will prompt how the old friend becomes better than 2 new. These are new bags and new fur coats. All is in our hands. Today with you, Tatiana Lazareva. Hello, dear viewers. To have one good idea, you need to have many ideas. And today we hasten to share with you very interesting textile ideas which lie on the surface. They have long been known to all, but we will try turning all upside down, putting all upside down to give you very good point of a textile support, and I'm sure it will turn your textile world. Sometimes that there will be something new, it's necessary to take everything that you have at hand, to mix all it and to get very interesting mix. We will make it. We begin with the most simple. I have small pieces of fur which for a long time past I put in the separate container, and at last they are ready to be united in something interesting and whole. I took a needle with a strong thread and have connected all manually. But if you have a Fourier machine, it can be made in a faster way. And some masters simply lay a cup seaming, a zigzag stitching, but on very plain surface. To prepare it, you need to draw a line using a soap or a chalk, preferably lengthwise. But if you have a rack of such round form, here it's very difficult to find where is the lengthwise thread. Therefore, it's possible along any direction, because racks are small and it doesn't matter already to unite in the big clothes how they will behave in the big assemblage. Especially, we will have the second stage. We draw with chalk or soap a line. Then we take either sharp scissors or the razor. I took such knife with a sliding blade. It's very convenient to cut fur from the wrong side using it. This wonderful way will improve your mood, because you work with a sort of fairy moss, get into its warm embraces. Here there are many different shades and colors, and that has turned out you have internal satisfaction. And if this thing in future is of use and becomes a fine bedside carpet for the child or a stuffed toy, because from a cloth you can sew a beautiful bear or a doll. You can use this fur as you want. It can be a bag, can be house slippers, or simply interesting souvenir. We have prepared our fur material and now we will collect it. It can be made by means of the usual sewing machine and a zigzag seam, or by means of the Fourier machine. If you don't have the Fourier machine, it can be made manually. Racks are small, you sit down and watch any interesting serial and sew together small racks in such clothes of any size. By the way, pay attention that we safely combine both fur, fabric and natural. Look how interesting they are combined together. We have very courageous, on the one hand wild, and on the other hand very creative surface. And one more. all small pieces which remain with you in the course of work. It's opile which is chalked or narrow strips which remains after leveling of details. You carefully put them in capacity because they will be useful to us for our following stage. It seems to me that manual work also has the pluses because it connects all racks very carefully and sparing. We feel the texture in hands and we have interesting enough new textile surface. Pay attention, what creative were our grandmothers. They easily combine fur and brocade and velvet and lace. We also can add to the arsenal any interesting finds. A grandmother's chest is bottomless and very stimulating creativity. We can add our winter clothes with such removable interesting detail. Here we have a combination of the embroidered fabric and fur, or fur with a velvet. Why not? Having inspired by such interesting findings from 19th centuries, we will start our models of 21st century. We, our fur which have already collected, will try to make more interesting because combining natural and artificial fur, this surface is certainly interesting, but we can add it a little more. With what? It can be any open work fabrics from the reserve which you have at hand. It can be transparent organza, but I took the rest of such interesting lace. It's synthetic and it holds no interest personally for me, because I don't like capron creaking fabrics in their natural kind. But I like when they supplement any textile surface. For example, we will complicate our fur and we'll put this fine lace on our fur surface. We'll lay meshing lines. We'll complicate a little the pattern, maybe with ribbons, maybe already in addition from the top with a lace, maybe with cords or a braid. And you will have absolutely the other surface. They will merge together and you will be surprised with the result. The first layer is a lining, the second layer such glutinous web, then I took the few rests, but didn't begin to sew them as in this variant among themselves, but has simply laid out on the web very densely to each other. I had rests of woolen threads and textiles, and I have filled with these rest spaces between fur. Then all has covered with the lace, but preliminary it will be necessary by steam to connect the lining, the web and fur with the lace in a single hole, that meshing lines will be laid easily. Two little but important advices. When you work and you have at hand a new technological material, is good. You saw that we used a glutinous web, is different both in a narrow format and in wide enough which you have. Sometimes it's possible to replace it with usual gluing pencil, simply to make a line to fix your textile rest and then to put on it a lace, and more. This net is bought in the usual household shop. It's heat-resistant, but it has meshes through which we see the surface, and it withstands any temperature. If you have such net, it's wonderful. If you haven't, a usual sheet of paper, a piece of the newspaper, or a usual fabric which you use for the ironing at home. It has appeared a very simple method. We have united two simple surfaces in a very interesting new surface. So we can do with it everything that we want. Pay attention, we have the jacket, we have the convenient and practical bag. It can be beautiful house shoes. You can experiment with what you have, can cut lengthwise, bias. Because here, as we have later cup seaming very often, lost lengthwise and weft direction. And this new textile variant can become everything. What we can make of nothing? We can make of nothing very many. For example, if you take a piece of fur and any old napkin, you can create a new textile surface. You will need to lay meshing lines, as in the previous variant, to take then such brush with long and hard bristles, and accurately to gum out, and it's possible to make it by means of a metal hook if the holes are small. And pulling out fur, the lace as though rolls in, and we have very interesting variant. And it even on short pile looks very effectively. For example, you take the rest from the old scarf. It can be very plain textile rests which connecting with fur, and then becoming complicated with beads or pads, turn out very interesting in the ready kind. The rag is small but precious, said in Russia. We fully agree with it. We take small rags not necessarily to create a new textile surface. We need the huge piece of a cloth or a scarf. Let it will be the small rests. They can be different in shades on rhythmic drawing of meshes. You put them on each other. The meshing line will unite all, and you create a new textile collage on the basis of long or short piles fur and spreading even such small wreaths of a lace, because they will create the rhythm, the pattern, and it will be very interesting. Look, here the jacket created in such way. Here there is a big flower from a cloth and small wire pattern from a napkin. You can overlap in each other to play with fur shades, because fur in different parts of the jacket are very different. Some wear it greenish, some wear pinkish, and as a whole you get very interesting textile picture, and each time it will be new, because it's simply impossible to repeat such pattern. Laying machine lines, you can regulate choosing the frequency of these lines. Besides, in the reserve of your sewing machine there are many beautiful decorative seams. I advise use them. You will have very interesting pattern on the fur surface, plus pieces of a lace with which we have put it. And one more. If you want to leave any special and interesting parts of fur, you can certainly make it. Then you will have eyelets of fur which will be partially overlapped by lace pieces. And pay attention, when you lay machine lines, they can pass absolutely spontaneously. The most important thing is that you have overlapped those seams which were the result of layering one piece of lace on another. You can make them decorative, can lay a machine line using a woolen thread, and make the seams more convex and volume. It's already the decorative variant. At this stage, pay attention to one thing. When you lay machine lines, you can preliminarily prepare the surface as we, by means of pins, if you have small enough fragment. And if you want to make a jacket and you have the big pattern, you make the same. But instead of pins, use wide running stitches in several directions, that all parts of the future assemblage will be merged together by running stitches. It will facilitate your work. We start to conjure. We have the most usual household subjects, brushes with different lengths of pile, tweezers, and a metal hook which can be such, and more. Depending on what meshes you have and how long pile you will pull out by means of a hook. We begin the most interesting. Simply we take out by means of a hook or brushes fur from lacuna, which you have as a result of grinding of details. It seems to me there is a huge field for textile experiments. Pay attention to our spontaneous fur roughness. It really waves of the different color of the different lengths, and we have the interesting mix. You can combine all tools lying before you, somewhere to work with the brushes, somewhere to take a hook, and to get very interesting textile surface which can be used in any textile purposes. Look how many necessary and useful things happened literally out of nothing. It can be and a small bag, and convenient enough and practical bag, and house footwear and mass of interesting jackets, padded jackets, and can be even any interesting interior thing. Try, I'm sure you will succeed. The masterclass is finished. The creative way will master only the gun. Especially luck goes to a meeting only to the one who is in the way. I wish you good fellow travelers, forces, the energy, all the best. Good luck to new meetings. With you there was Tatiana Lazareva.